Hi, this is Rick. I'm here in my studio, and you're visiting my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. Once again this year, I decided to put together a series of holiday card videos that you can share with your friends and family. I post all the content on the project page of my website. If you go there, you'll find the links for the videos, links for the templates that I use for the cards, and reference photos of the cards themselves. And they're all 5 by 7 inches, and you can put those on a blank greeting card stock or just on regular watercolor paper, whatever you choose. But I hope you enjoy watching this series and enjoy painting them and sharing with your friends and family. This is Rick in the studio. I'm ready to begin another mini holiday painting. This is 7 by 5 inches. And this is the template that you're looking at. I actually use this for two different versions of the holiday cards that I'm doing this year. And just a very simple template. You can find this on my website. You can find the link to that to the project page on my website in the description of this video. So I've already drawn that on there. And I'm going to use some masking fluid to create this snow scene. So I'm going to use this fine line masking bottle that I've used in many of my little holiday card things. I use these kind of symbolic snowflakes that I put in there. So you don't need to squeeze a lot when you're using one of these. It writes like a rolling writer, like a rolling pen. So this is just kind of a symbol of a snowflake. I don't need to get too involved with it. And once I take this off, the white of the paper will show to represent a snowflake. And here's another one. And if you're squeezing with one of these, if you're using one of these fine tip masking fluid bottles of any kind, if you're squeezing and you get a bunch of kind of big blobs out, you're probably squeezing too hard. You just need enough pressure to keep fluid flowing to the nozzle. And if you do get a mark that you don't like, all you have to do is wait for it to dry and then lift it off before you begin to paint. You can rub it off with a fine pickup eraser or your finger, whatever is easiest. But once it's dry on the paper, it'll come off very easily. If you try to do it while it's wet, it's just going to make a mess. You're better off just letting it dry. So there's 3 snowflakes. And then and make sure you put the cap on immediately when you stop using one of these fine line bottles. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to splatter some masking fluid with a toothbrush. I'm going to dip it in this jar of masking fluid I have. You can squeeze some out of a bottle, whatever works best. And I'm going to splatter some by pulling the bristles back, and I'm going to splatter some by tapping it on my hand. Tapping it on my hand gives me some bigger droplets. And sometimes you'll get too big. And if you happen to get any you don't like I said, all you do is wait for it to dry and then remove it before you start to paint. So this is about enough. A couple more hits with this. All right, that's all there is to it. Now I'll let that air dry and then I'll begin to paint. This is Rick back in the studio. I've let this dry, the masking fluid, and now I'm going to start to paint. So I'm going to paint this lower half, the shape with the trees first. And what I'm going to do is take some clear water. So I'm taking a big wash brush, and I'm going to just brush it over the lower half of this. So there's the lower half. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little of this. This is peacock blue, but you could use, phthalo or any kind of strong blue. Now this is wet. I actually want this. I need to go a little higher with my water. So you can get the top of the trees. All right. So, if this is a pretty, if I can get some out of there, this is a pretty intense color. So I'm just making a few marks with some of that blue. And now what I'm going to do is, this is mauve, but you can mix any violet. Take some of this mauve, maybe this quinacridone violet, any of this color here would do. Just kind of a bright color. Add a little of that in there. Take a little of this here. I don't want to go too dark with this. I might just spray a little water on there. Things will flow around a bit more. And like gravity, you can see kind of pulling that down a little bit, creates an interesting flow. So that's going to be pretty light value what I just put on there. Now what I want to do is I want to dry this, and I'm going to paint negative space behind that. I think actually you get a little more color over here. A little blue maybe. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to dry it. Okay, that's dry. And now what I'm going to do is take a brush here. I'll take some of this violet, maybe some ultramarine blue. I want this to be pretty dark to start. I'll take some of this quinacridone violet too. Add a little of that in there. A little ultramarine. Then I'll add, get a little darker. Take some royal blue and add to that. Some water. And now I'm going to take a bit of a smaller brush, bring that down. Now it's important that I keep the edge of the wash that I'm bringing down wet, so I don't get an edge in the middle of my sky. So I'm just going to paint negative space here. Go back to a larger brush to bring that down a little bit. And I can just bring this all the way across now, all the way down to the horizon line. And then I want to continue over here. Painting around the edge of this tree. And now I'll just get my larger brush and bring that down here. Okay, now I'm going to pick up any excess that might have built up. And I'm going to take my hairdryer and I'm going to give this a quick dry. So that's dry, and I'm going to make a few marks here where just to show a few breaks in this tree, break this shape up a little bit, make it more interesting. Too much. I'm going to give that a dry. Then I'll take the masking fluid off. I could have been a little brighter with the colors down here. I kept it fairly light and subdued, but you could go stronger with those colors if you want. Now we'll take the masking fluid off. Okay, so let me grab my mat. And there we have another holiday painting. So, you know, these colors I kept pretty light in here, but you could go a little brighter, a little more intense if you wanted, and then come in with your wash. You could even be darker than what I did here. Using the same template for this and then a second card, the other one going darker here and lighter here. So you can play with this and experiment with colors and have a little bit of fun, but working with positive and negative edges to help define the shape. So have fun with this and enjoy painting.